Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Steve Bauk. I'm president of Solution Synergy, and I'll be your host today. Joining me on the call is Robbie Moore, Enterprise Account Executive with AuthX, and we're both very excited to welcome you to our featured presentation today, Beyond Passwords, Securing Healthcare with Cloud-Based MFA and SSO. Just a little bit for those of you who are not familiar with Solution Synergy. We are a unique firm dedicated to seeking out emerging cybersecurity solutions. We are a valued partner for AppViewX Certificate Lifecycle Management, Acorian for their compliance and testing services, Armis for asset visibility and vulnerability security. We've recently just added Zona Systems, which is a very exciting secure remote access solution for critical infrastructure and IT infrastructure. They are the dominant player in the energy and oil and gas industries. They're expanding into the healthcare and local government environment. And the unique thing about their solution is that they encrypt the images, not data packets, so that they instantly improve your security posture and allow you to eliminate your old legacy VPN infrastructure. Then we've also added the Black Talon Security Eagle Eye Attack Surface Risk Management solution, which scans your environment, also identifies vulnerabilities, and in its case, automatically remediates a large portion of those vulnerabilities. But today, we're going to spend our time learning about AuthX and how you can transform your organization into a passwordless authentication environment. So with that, Robbie, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Steve. It's a pleasure to meet everyone here. Glad you guys could all make this webinar here. We've been doing this for a couple of times and they've been very successful, and the feedback that we hear is just tremendous in terms of the help that we're able to provide to our clients from these webinars, if it's either with AuthX or if it's just another practice that they can put into their authentication processes in their health system, manufacturing environment, or even state local education here. So at AuthX, we help various different industries, as I mentioned, from state local education to manufacturing to also healthcare. Healthcare being our primary vertical here. But with that, IAM, identity access management, we see it almost everywhere. Passwords are being stolen from MGM to the United Healthcare outage, but we see 81% of breaches are due to weak or compromised passwords. It's because we see individuals using the same password for their Facebook, also for their finance application that they're using, which is obviously not safe. And that's not the IT department's fault. It's not the end user's fault. They're just doing what's easiest. And we're here to also help them have authentication practices be as easy as possible for the end user, but also making sure the IT team is doing their job in making it a requirement to have 15 plus character passwords, and also allowing them to be different characters and having numbers inside of them as well. So from those 81% of breaches due to weak or compromised passwords, that costs businesses about $4.8 million across the world. And obviously in healthcare, if they have that personal health information, it's going to be at a higher cost. And it's also going to lead to trust issues from your clients and from your customers, of course. And also a benefit added on top of AuthX is 45% of businesses are using 5 or more IAM tools, which leads us into the next slide. But AuthX, you're going to be able to consolidate all of your vendors with IAM, if that's self-service password reset tools, or if that's even application multi-factor authentication for web-based applications or those legacy applications that you might not have multi-factor authentication for right now. So AuthX, we've been around for about 5 years or so now, but we're just now starting to hit the market. With technology, you know, it takes time. You have to build trust with your clients. And we have over 1 million endpoints secured across various industries. To deploy AuthX, we're a cloud-based solution. So that's going to make that deployment and that really cost and hurdle to ownership a lot lower than compared to our competitors because we're cloud-based. So it's not going to have any on-prem infrastructure. The ability to sync in users and then deploy AuthX to multiple workstations can take anywhere between a couple of hours, depending on how many workstations you have, of course. But for one clinic, we can easily install AuthX within a day. So that less than 8 weeks, those larger clinics like Loma Linda University Medical Center, one of our clients here in California, that is taking a little more than 6 to 4 weeks. It's taking about 2 to 3 months, but that's due to them having 25,000 users and about 30 locations all across Southern California. To average time to enroll a user is definitely less than 10 minutes. So with AuthX to enroll a user, all they have to do is just have a badge that is not enrolled to an individual, tap that badge on the KSI keyboard or any type of reader that can read Prox cards or COS cards, and that individual type their username and password, and that badge will then be assigned to that user. So we can have enrollment be at the lock screen, or we can have enrollment stations to where they'll be monitored by security or whoever, making sure individuals are not assigning badges that are not a part of their environment, which would be almost impossible if they're not in your Active Directory. But let's say an employee left, a disgruntled employee, they're still somehow in your Active Directory. They try to assign a card to themselves. That is an opportunity. But with that, AuthX will be able to deter them by only having that Active Directory be the truth of source. And AuthX will sync automatically with Active Directories too. So really, it's on the IT team just to make sure their Active Directory is synced with the amount of employees that they currently have. But AuthX will do the job of only allowing individuals that are in your Active Directory that have the right credentials and have the right rights to be a part of your environment. So with AuthX, we're all about consolidating vendors. We're all about having one unified authentication system across the board. From that's if that's from your business office, from individuals being at a desk, or if that's your clinical staff moving from room to room, exam room to exam room, or again if that's in state local education, individuals that are on shared workstations compared to one-to-one workstations. So this is our whole platform. From AuthX Core, we're just going to have single sign-on, multi-factor authentication into workstations. That's the basic of AuthX, making sure that individuals are able to access the workstations as quickly as possible in a frictionless access, in a frictionless way. To AuthX Verify, which device access management as well. So having those mobile devices all across your floor or all across your shop, you have to know who has that device, right? So AuthX will be able to track with their badge who's picking up what device and then how long they had that device as well. So being able to consolidate your device access management with your multi-factor authentication, your single sign-on capabilities, to then obviously self-service password reset tool as well at the bottom here, being able to have individuals reset their passwords from the lock screen. So we have one client that is doing about 2,500 to 3,000 passwords a month. But when they switched to AuthX, they're now limiting that to around 100 to 200 a month, which is just insane. So with AuthX being able to reset their passwords at the lock screen is a huge advantage. And those 100 and 200 individuals, I'm sure they just want to speak to someone over the phone and reset their passwords themselves. Or if they don't want to reset their passwords themselves, they just want to have someone call in the IT help desk to have them do it themselves, or to have the IT help desk do it for them. But with that, we're also a Chrome enterprise recommended company. So Google is a very large partner of ours. We are in the Chrome enterprise recommended toolbox, which then leads to the Epic Toolbox. So we are now an Epic Toolbox certified solution, which is an amazing accomplishment. We are going to be going to Epic XGM, Epic UGM, and that's just due to the amount of help and the amount of guidance and I guess really the trust that we built with our customers for to have them recommend us to Epic as a great solution that is an alternative to a solution that's been out there for 30 plus years. And people like choice. People don't like to just stick with one thing because it's the only thing out there in the market, but they also like to have a solution that is better than what they currently have, which is AuthX. And then being in the Microsoft Azure Marketplace, for those Microsoft customers, we're able to help you reach your spend with Microsoft, so you can obviously get those, get the help and the financial financial plus that Microsoft Azure Marketplace offers. Now, AuthX in total, this is the best screenshot I think I have of AuthX and how you can really look at AuthX at a quick snapshot. So on the left, we have a core platform, access policies, multi-factor authentication, creating a passwordless environment, frictionless at the front doorstep of those workstations. That's our core platform. The next thing is that access management for mobile authentication apps to also being on different OS operating systems, from Linux to Mac to Android, to also offering different authentication workflows for, let's say, state and local governments compared to education. So obviously students aren't going to need to have the same access and the same workflows as a state and local government will need. So we're able to offer different types of workflows to fit your exact need. Also clinical workflows. I'm sure most of the attendees here are here from healthcare. So we can have specific clinical workflows that are Epic workflows specific, and also Cerner workflows and Athena. So we're not only just Epic compatible, we can integrate and we're compatible with almost every EHR system out there, especially if they're web-based. We can handle web-based applications like you see with our SSO Chrome plugin, Edge plugin, and user portals. And if it's a local application, we can primarily do RPA scraping, which is robotic process automation, which will scrape that screen for the username and password fields. And then when an individual taps their badge on that, AuthX will then input those credentials in there, as long as they've used that application previously with AuthX, typing in their password and their username at least once. After that first time, any subsequent times after that, they'll be able to use their badge to access that application. 2, identity management. We're able to, again, offer self-source password reset. And I harp on that because it is huge. Resetting your password takes time. It takes tremendous time, especially if you're out of office for a week. You're going to forget that password unless you use that same password for Facebook and you're on Facebook on vacation. But with that, we're able to have individuals reset their password by themselves with 2-factor authentication, limiting the amount of calls to the IT help desk, and also enabling that employee to get to work as quickly as possible. And on the right-hand side, far right, directory services. We're able to work with any environment out there, if it's Azure, if it's an on-prem Active Directory, or if they're using Okta as their IDP. And Okta is a great solution. We can improve an Okta solution as well with badge tap and then auto launch their Okta environment, which is another specific workflow that we have for Okta users. So really, AuthX is interchangeable with whatever directory services you have. We're compatible with any OS that you have, and really any applications that you need. If it's a legacy application or if it's a web-based application, AuthX will be able to secure that with passwordless 2-factor authentication as well. So AuthX, I already went over it. We're a cloud-based IAM platform that simplifies authentication and identity management. How are we simplifying identity management? We are making it a one unified pane of glass, one painted glass that anyone can see what endpoints they're working on, how their users are authenticating, denied authentications, accepted authentications, new users added, controlling user groups, controlling applications, seeing what applications are being used most and what applications are being used less. So then making it easier and enabling those individuals to access workstations or applications whatever way their IT team allows them. So these are all of the ways that individuals can access their workstations, from finger biometrics to face biometrics to more of those traditional multi-factor authentication practices that you see, like with your banking app, of having a push notification or an SMS OTP sent to your phone. So whatever way is easiest for your end users to authenticate, we're going to accommodate that, because password security is the most important thing inside of an IT environment. Because if you have an individual's password, you're able to access their workstation, and then you're also able to access any applications if there's not multi-factor authentication assigned to those applications, or if that user is using the same password for all different applications, which is hard to control today. So I went over the endpoints and the OS that we offer, but some of our partners as well, like KSI like RFIDs, iGel, Google, Epic, Citrix. We are trying to be the one solution that can work on all platforms in any type of environment, because we understand how important password security is to the end users and to businesses in general. And now is the time as well, with bad actors searching all the time. I get an email almost once every 6 months or one every 8 months saying my password was now stolen from some data hack of a large corporation. And I do make sure that I have individual passwords for each application. But with AuthX, that makes it so much easier to manage those passwords and manage access into those applications as easy as possible. So protocols environments need for IT, IT environments need from SAML to OpenID to OIDC. These are two newer language models for authentication that are going to allow the passwords to be encrypted end to end. With AuthX, we support SAML, we support OIDC, we also support RPA, like I mentioned before. But for those newer language models, we support them. Almost every application that is web-based or is creating a new version of their application will support SAML or OIDC. And if your applications do not support SAML or OIDC, AuthX can handle that RPA process as well. Because we don't care, again, what applications you have, we want to be able to protect them no matter what they're running or what they are on. And then for those on-prem Active Directories as well, we can use LDAPs to sync in those users. And we can also support remote desktop protocols of launching RDPs inside of a session as well. So AuthX is that solution for the future. It's also the solution for now for those legacy applications. And then for those applications that support the modern language authentication, support the modern authentication languages, AuthX can support those as well. So the AuthX difference today, you're going to have multi-factor authentication. You're going to have electronic medical record integration as well. You're probably going to have VDA. You might have self-service password reset tools, and you might not. But you're also going to have a password manager tool, and you might have multi-factor authentication with Duo. But with AuthX, what you're going to get is you're going to get cloud hosted and managed. So if you're having a EMR tap and go solution right now, that's most likely going to be on-prem. And we obviously know the costs that are associated with an on-prem appliance, like maintenance to the servers, to also help desk support as well. That's expensive. With cloud-based solution, it's streamlined. It's all at one cost per user per year. No extra maintenance fees or on-premise service fees as well. To enabling remote workers, so being able to push AuthX out to remote laptops is a amazing advantage that AuthX has. So those individuals that work from home, or let's say they're out of the state, AuthX will be able to lock down their workstations and will enable those individuals to use their badge or any of the other factors of authentication that we saw on the previous slide to access their workstations or applications. To those open standards, so being able to work with any application out there, any environment. AuthX, again, we do not care what applications you have. We don't care what technology you have. We just want to authenticate, and we want to ensure seamless authentication into those applications and workstations that you have in your environment. To lower cost reader support. So AuthX, we are a technology solution. So whatever readers you have, especially if you already have a tap and go solution right now, we can actually use those current readers that you have in place with AuthX. So reducing the hurdle and ownership, or reducing the hurdle and that initial cost of ownership of AuthX. And I do want to go over the cost first development features and the lower cost software services and management. So customer first development features, AuthX, we have a lot of, we support our customers to the utmost. So we have a lot of help. We support them in all ways, more than one, from developing solutions that are going to improve their environment, to also just creating ways that are going to help their IT team manage their AuthX environment in an easier way. One example that we have of customer first development features is actually with Loma Linda University Medical Center, of having a lot of bad actors call on their password reset help desk line. So a lot of bad actors are calling, they're committing fraud, and it's hard to know over the phone if a person is real or not. So AuthX is going to send them a mobile face verify notification. It'll scan their face, and then it'll then give them a code that they can read out over the phone to that help desk technician to authenticate that individual, saying that, hey, he went through face authentication and he also went through the mobile authentication of just having that device that is assigned to him. So that gives him or her the right to reset their password. And lower cost software services and management. So AuthX is a cloud-based solution. So there really isn't any help desk support. There aren't any help desk support fees or any managed services fees as well with AuthX. It's all cloud-based. So AuthX Secure in your environment. AuthX can, again, I mentioned earlier, can work for the business office to the clinical office to even manufacturing and state local education. So AuthX, the idea of any shared workstation or really any workstation in an environment should have two-factor authentication. It should not just be locked down with a single password that can be guessed or might be used on a different application. So how AuthX does that is one, single user mode is one-to-one. Only one individual can access that workstation unless they're an admin. Shared user mode is going to have multiple individuals logging into one workstation, but AuthX is going to launch the individual's Windows profile or Mac profile. The workstation lock mode is also going to be a shared workstation, but it's going to be a kiosk mode. So it's going to have a generic Windows account running. So we're going to have fast user switching so that we're not going to have to load that individual's full profile. It would just be a generic profile. And after that generic profile is ran, then or is launched, then AuthX will input the credentials of that user, that badge into the generic user account into those applications that they made. Delegation mode is a newer option that we are offering. So some companies have one user, one license for an application, but multiple individuals are sharing the username and password to access that application. So AuthX will be able to use the badge of the individual and type in the same credentials for all of those individuals that are sharing the same license. So being able to, again, have those individuals not know that password of that shared account, but being able to use something they have, something they know, or something they are to access that workstation, like a badge, like a PIN, or like a OTP that they get. And then kiosk mode, the last option that we offer is going to be that shared user workstation, but it's only going to launch one application running. So that workstation will be locked down. AuthX will lock down that workstation, but it will only launch one specific application when the user logs into that workstation. So we have 5 different workflows that we've seen fit in almost every single environment. But of course, there are some different environments out there that might have a different way of doing things. But from what we see from the countless implementations that we've done, this covers almost every single environment in a business. So KSI. KSI is an awesome partner of AuthX and Solution Synergy. I really love the KSI keyboards because it has a reader in it where you see the icon and the RFID badge. An individual can just tap that badge. It will load up a sensor of heat. And once that individual walks away, it will automatically lock or log off that workstation. And that can be customized through AuthX of the lock or log off workflow. But what we see on those implementations is that the first couple of months, individuals forget to tap their badge to log off, or they just forget to lock that workstation. So the KSI keyboard is a great way to reduce that kind of hurdle or that learning curve, reduce that learning curve of bringing on the tapping go solution by having the individual just tap once, log in, and then walk away to log off. It's also going to reduce the amount of security issues in a high traffic area of individuals walking up right behind someone and then sneaking in and staying on that active session. But the KSI keyboards are a great solution for walk up and walk away support. So with KSI tap in, tap away, or tap in, walk away solution, you're going to get multi-factor authentication for all of your applications, for all of your endpoints. You're going to get SSO for all of your applications as well through that user portal. or through that Chrome plugin or Edge plugin that I mentioned. You're also going to get Badge Tab login into the workstation with KSI keyboards, and you're also going to get FIDO-based authentication as well. So that is a huge initiative that businesses are taking, is FIDO compliance. And coming soon in a few weeks, AuthX will be able to support FIDO capabilities. And then, of course, that presence detection, wrapping it all up into one, of just being able to badge tap up to a device, log into whatever application it is by SSO with AuthX, and then walking away and then logging out. It's seamless. It's seamless. It's frictionless. It is the best way to have password security. Is the best way to increase password security at your environment. Here we have the AuthX lock screen. Individuals using a KSI keyboard to log into that. Their badge, taps in, automatically launches their session. Here they're going to tap out. This is going to show the support for walk up and walk away. I'll pass it to you, Steve. Thank you.
Okay.